Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of OA News Overtime. I'm Jordan Hill with Justin Lee, as always.
Jordan Hill.
Justin
We have
Lee.
lived a lifetime.
In the last 2 days alone. Oh, my gosh. It's been a busy week on top of a busy month, but, it's just sort of that time of year. And
Yeah, we'll sleep in August. Oh, wait, no, we won't.
No,
Football.
we won't. We'll sleep you'll get to sleep when you go to Texas for that wedding.
That's true.
So just enjoy that time.
That's true.
Once you get back, you're back in the Briar Patch.
Hey, man, we love the Briar Patch.
That's where we live, baby. Let's just jump into the biggest thing, man.
Dude.
Suni Lee.
Hey, man.
Olympic gold medalist.
Crazy, right?
It's just insane. I want to give a big shout out to you, Justin, and a lot of people have done it on social media. The job you've done covering this, it's been fun, and I was following it. I didn't get a chance to watch it live, but following your tweets, it was great. Just sort of set the scene what that was like on Thursday morning as Suni went out there and won the individual all-around.
Stop it. It was, kind of unexpected, and she even said that in some of her post game that she was like, I was out there trying to get silver, is what her own personal, and obviously, maybe she wouldn't have admitted that before, but it was a surprise. Like, if you're not familiar with gymnastics, I can't really describe. It's indescribable how huge it is, because this is the individual all around at the Olympics is the biggest accomplishment in the sport. That's it. It'll never get better. Now, people love the team final. And I bet she loved Team Gold. Team Gold is another accomplishment. But, I mean, the individual all-around is it. And she did it. She did it. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of once in a lifetime. And she's committed to Auburn. And, I mean, I don't think any of us, for the rest of our lives, we're not going to have a Olympic all-around, you know what I mean, singles, finals, individual winner tangentially connected to Auburn. If you're an Auburn fan, it is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It's crazy. And, like, for just watching it and to see the dominoes fall the way they did, and you got to give credit to Jess and Jeff Graba, who Jess Graba mostly, of course, is her club coach. She's the one in Tokyo. But we talked to Jeff, and, they were bouncing ideas off of each other all week. And she goes to floor, and it's looking a little – the Brazil girl, Andrade, was looking like, she could overpass her, should have overpassed her. They stuck to their new plan. They went to a 3-pass floor routine. This is coaching switches they made on the fly in Tokyo. They had a 4-pass floor routine coming in. They switched to 3, and they got the score they wanted. And lo and behold, a couple steps out of bounds for Andrade, and Suni wins the whole thing. Crazy.
And I mean, that was that routine she hadn't practiced, right? Because they made the change so late, right?
So no, when she had went to team finals, she had to throw her 4-pass, but she had secretly been practicing the 3-pass.
Gotcha.
So that's what that story is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, in the team finals, she helped win silver because when Simone left. And the reason she pulled out, of course, God, there's so many stories we could talk about, right? But the reason
our 3-hour podcast
today. The reason she pulled out is because she didn't want to tumble USA further to bronze, right? Yeah. So it was a battle for silver, and Suni came up clutch on floor. Yeah, she did not expect to throw floor that day. Simone was supposed to.
Yeah.
And so came up big, went back to her old routine. Not the new one they were still working on. Mm-hmm. So that's what that story was.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Just to me, for the Auburn fans that are listening, you hit on this a second ago, but just think about how wild this is that she's coming to Auburn gymnastics. And think about when Simone pulled out, the thought was pretty much, well, this is going to be really hard for the United States to continue this streak of gold medals.
Yep.
Because of Suni Lee, they did.
Yeah. Unbelievable,
it's
man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it just emerging in this firestorm that was. I mean, the day before was an awful day for Team USA Gymnastics because of the way people responded to that. None of them who know anything about the sport.
Yeah.
Right. The way people responded for it, that was a firestorm, and then Suni emerges from it. Her being a leader that she is. Saying things like, hey, we don't owe anybody anything, The thing of it is like, hey, I don't owe you a gold medal, but guess what? She still wants to win one for you, and then she did.
Yeah.
So what do you got to say about that now? You know what I mean?
How do you like them apples?
Yeah, exactly.
Suni Lee obviously has not got to Auburn yet.
Right.
that is something a lot of people are anticipating now.
Yeah, man.
In years past,
Right.
there would be this question about, well, is she still going to come to Auburn? But Justin Lee, we are in
man.
the NIL era.
Yeah.
Fill us in on sort of how that's going to work and the fact that Suni is still coming to Auburn.
Yeah, man. I mean, she's like people on Twitter. Everyone is like, "Is this too good to be true?" And people on Twitter are like, "In my opinion, she's not coming." I'm like, "Well, I don't care about your opinion. This is my reporting. This is what's going to happen." The plan is, and the plan remains. She has updated. You can go to her Instagram right now, which now has 1 million followers.
Wow.
Let's talk.
Wow,
about
what happened?
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about NIL. But she's updated it to say Olympic champion, gold medalist, Auburn Gymnastics 2025. You know what I mean? So she has her gold medal in her hand, and she typed that. You know what I mean? Like, I promise you it's the plan. There's nothing, like, we can't repeat it enough, I guess. People still doubt that she's coming. But that's the plan. And here's the thing, man. People are like, gold's going to change everything. Like, gold's going to change the plan. The plan was to win gold.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
That's been the plan this whole time. She's an elite gymnast at the top level. She's a competitor, man. It's not like she's, you know what I mean? Like people see these gymnasts and they're, you know, a 5 foot little girl and they just want to think that, oh, she's going to be swept away and all this. She's an athlete. She's a competitor. You know, she's a top elite athlete. She went there to win.
Yeah.
She didn't go up there trying to talk about no silver. She went up there to win, and so she did. So they're not going to change the plan now. This was part of the plan.
Well, I think the thing, too, maybe for the people that are like, oh, she might not be coming, they're like, oh, when you said she was an elite gymnast, oh, you meant like an elite. Like, I don't think they really comprehended, like, oh, she is, like, the best in the world.
You're talking about a 10-star recruit, brother.
Yeah.
Here's what makes it possible. And if you don't believe me, I'll lay it out again. Here's what makes it possible. First is NIL. She can still get her image and likeness and endorsements, which is the professional level in Olympics.
Yes.
Right? There is no in gymnastics. What I say, Olympics. Yes. There is no National Gymnastics League. There is no NGL.
Yeah.
Or NGA. Right?
Though there should be.
Yeah, it's the Olympics. And you get paid chump change, I think, now for being an athlete at the Olympics. You're basically still an amateur. Going back to the days when college athletes and the Olympians were all amateurs. Mm-hmm. It's all endorsements. And now you can go to college and still do the endorsements. So, hey, man, Auburn might have to hire 2 more compliance people to go over these contracts. But Auburn's compliance has reached out to SUNY. They have talked with SUNY. SUNY's talked to them, is what Jeff said. That's begun. That process has already begun. Compliance is ready for it. And so that is possible now, something entirely different. And Jeff has said, after winning gold before, no shot. Probably couldn't do it. She's gonna be on a cereal box probably.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do it. And but now she can. And it's a viable thing. And here's the thing, she wants to do it. Everyone wanted to do it. Jordan Weber wanted to do it. We've told this before. I've told the story 1,000 times. Jordan Weber was on the Fierce Five with Allie Rainsmith and all them. She was on the Cornflakes box. She couldn't do it. She still went to UCLA.
And when you say couldn't do it, couldn't compete in college
Couldn't compete in college, right.
Yes.
She still went to UCLA because she still wanted to go to college with all her friends.
Yeah.
She still went to UCLA, and she was a coach. And now, like we said, now that's why she's the coach at Arkansas at like age 25 or whatever, because she started coaching when she was 18.
Yeah.
It's basically almost retirement is the way it was before. Now you don't have to make that decision. Now you can still go to college and do what your friends want to do. Or go be like your friends, right? Yeah. That makes it possible. Here's the other thing that makes it possible. It helps when your coach and your college coach are twins with like a telepathic connection.
They've talked a time or two about the plan. Like you talked about the plan.
Their plan
they are in the middle of the plan.
Right. The 3 of them put together this plan. And that's the thing. The only way SUNY's not coming to Auburn is if someone hires Jeff Grabo away.
Yeah.
That's it. And we don't foresee that happening, so it's happening. Mm-hmm. This was the plan. And if she went to some other college, some other at Oklahoma or something, the club coach might be like, well, I need her to throw bars to win this. And Jeff's going to be like, we're doing what SUNY wants because, it's about her and we owe it to her. And if you're an Auburn fan, I'm just saying, man, ride the wave. If she comes in, you know what I mean? And even if it were some half in, half out Sharif thing where it only comes for a little while and a phenom just flashes through, even then, hey man, live it, love it. But I mean, but she's coming, and it's just when she's here, she'll be making her decisions as to what she wants to focus on. She may be focused on the World Championships more so than the NCAA Championships. But okay, you have 3 years between now and Tokyo, from now in France, Paris, I guess. I don't know, 2024, Olympics 2024. There are X amount of ways you could stay in shape for it. NCAA gymnastics is one of them. She could either train in Minnesota or train here. Plan is she's coming here, and hey man, everyone's like, oh, the plan's going to change now. She's not going to go against the Graba twins now. They just won her the biggest prize in the sport.
Yeah.
Helped her, you know.
Yeah.
Were a part of.
Yes.
She won it.
Yes.
They were a part of it.
Yes, they played a role in it.
Right.
Before we move on, I really want to harp on the NIL in that Suni's not even here. She will by far be the most, you know, as far as Auburn athletics, the one who can get the biggest deals. I mean, because, I mean, like the photo, I saw someone tweeted, like, when she gets to Auburn, she tries to get a table at Acre. Yeah. She just holds up that gold medal. I mean, like that gold medal, I mean, she can basically name her price for any of these endorsement deals that'll be lined up because there will be a ton.
Yeah. She could be on the Wheaties box. I don't know. We'll see. You know, the Wheaties
Do
box.
people eat Wheaties?
I don't know. The old Wheaties, that's the Olympics thing.
Yeah.
You know, and in 2012, those guys were on cornflakes, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
Wheaties was busy with Michael Phelps or somebody like that. So.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, all that stuff. I mean, Josh Tubb on Twitter said something like, someone was like, who gets more, Bo Nix or Suni? And this is before she won gold. It's a lot more obvious now.
Yeah.
It was obvious then, but it's not even a question. But it's like, Bo is getting Milo's. She's going to get Visa.
Yeah. You're like, absolutely correct.
MasterCard. Yeah. We don't know what it'll be. Maybe it won't be. But, because now I think there's a Michaela Maroney ad that's airing now where she goes up on the roof for the Frisbee. Yeah. Yep. You know, those things are possible. And, I mean, we'll see how she markets it. But, yeah, that's it. And I don't know. And, I mean, my main thing is, she wants to go to college, and you know maybe she wants to be a face of how kids can still go to college and still do. She can be a pioneer. That's what she wants to do, and I mean, if you saw her out there on that floor, man, can't nobody tell her nothing. You know what I mean? She's gonna do what she's got to do. So crazy times though, man.
Crazy times. I want to wrap up Suni with this. There was a video. It must have been on her Instagram of her celebrating, and she had a piece of pepperoni pizza in the shot. I'm like, my champion.
Did you see? There's a picture that NBC Olympics posted. It's like a quote, and it's just like, "I want pizza, Suni Lee." Our champion.
That is.
Get her in the Domino's ad right now.
Absolutely. Hey, you know, you say that. It might be coming.
Yeah. So a lot of moving pieces, I'm sure. But hey, man, like, just understand that when she passed 1 million followers, when all this is going on, Auburn Gymnastics 25 is in her bio. It's what she wants to do, man.
It's the plan. Let's see if they stick with the plan. You mentioned moving pieces, Justin.
Jordan.
Saw some moving pieces in the NBA draft on Thursday night. 2 Auburn players were drafted. Yep. We were a little bit surprised. Neither one of them went in the first round, so that broke what was a 2-year streak of Auburn having a player taken in the first round. But you got J.T. Thor taken in the second round, 37th overall pick to the Charlotte Hornets.
Right.
Shortly thereafter, Sharif Cooper, the 48th overall pick to the Atlanta Hawks.
Hometown kid,
McEachern's own, going to Atlanta. What were your thoughts on how that draft process kind of played out and sort of maybe what they might be able to do in their new homes at the next level?
It was surprising, and I'm sure hurt Auburn fans to watch them slip that far, but we did know that they were both pretty volatile. You know what I mean? Because JT is unproven. JT
is like the potential of JT Thor.
Potential what JT could become if he fills out his frame. And then Sharif is short. Sorry to say it, but that's what it is.
Breaking.
Yeah.
That's the thing that was so frustrating to me watching people on social media. Again, Sharif's a very good player, but he's not very big. Right. And I can understand why some people had some hesitations. And
everyone's like, oh, he should have come back to Auburn. He ain't going to grow.
That's the thing. He might grow, another inch or two, but he's not gonna be 6'6" next year because he came back to Auburn.
Right.
Anyway, continue your thoughts.
That's just what we knew. We knew going in it was going to be volatile, but it's like this, and this. But someone might fall in love with them, like Chuma, right? Mm-hmm. Someone might just fall in love with JT. Someone might just fall in love with Sharif. But then they ended up going in the second round. But I mean, looking at Dude, Sharif in Atlanta, if you were going to get drafted that late, that's kind of the perfect spot.
Yeah.
So he'll play 15 minutes a game, backing up Trae Young. Trae Young's excited about it. He said something about,
small guards, I think.
Small guards, let's go, right? That's a good. I mean, that's a good landing spot for him. Play behind Trae to start his career. And I mean, they want to take when Trae goes off the floor, they want to replace him with somebody who can, dish and maybe not. He can't score like Trae right away, but they don't need him to.
No.
He will have 4. He will be. All those great assists he had in college. Who's going to be passing it to 4 NBA players?
Yeah, John Collins, Kevin Huerter. I mean, this is a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. This is as surprising as that run was for the Hawks. This isn't a pushover team.
Right, and he could add a little bit of. It's hard to get how is your second round draft pick going to be an instant impact? But hey, man, for 15 minutes a game, 10 minutes a game, some crucial minutes in important games, that plus minus could improve because of Sharif.
Absolutely. And the thing, too, I think to keep in mind, and this is for me, too, and anybody else, second round of the NBA draft is a little bit different than, say, like the second round of the NFL draft. I mean, the rosters are completely different as far as size, and your expectations for a second-round pick is going to be a little bit different in the NBA.
Right.
But I really like, as a Hawks fan, I think that fit works very well for Sharif.
Yep.
Obviously, it's a challenge as far as he's concerned because he's not going to, take Trae Young's place. Trae Young is going to be the starting point guard.
Right.
So that is a challenge on that front. But their games mirror each other in a lot of ways.
Sure.
I mean, Trae's a pretty good shooter, but what really draws people's attention is his floor vision and the way he can, set up and run that offense. And that's what we saw, only in 12 games here at Auburn. But that's what Sharif really impressed with. I mean, we were at games where we were sitting, we would look at each other, some of the riders, and be like, how did he see that?
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're looking, and we kind of have a better vantage point than compared to being on the floor, and we're like, how did he make that pass?
Yeah.
So, and that was the backup point guard was one of the Hawks' really weakest positions in the last year. And then you saw it when Trae Young got hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals. They could not keep that run going.
Right.
Now you have that guy.
Right.
Now you have that guy that plays a lot like Trae. And I think, will really benefit from getting to play with him and maybe learn some things, maybe improve his shooting a little bit.
Yeah.
So excited to see that.
It's a good pick.
I think so. I think there were rumors about the Hawks maybe looking at him at like the 20th pick. Right. So if you're there, if you're the Hawks and he goes to 48, you're like, if they were truly considering him in the first round.
Right.
And then with Thor, I really like just the potential of JT. He was one of the youngest guys in this entire draft, and he showed flashes at Auburn. Everybody, really talked about that in time, what he could be. And, Bruce talked about, it just basically takes a team falling in love with him and falling in love with what he can be.
Right.
And I think that makes a lot of sense. And I'm excited to see what that looks like with the Hornets. It's probably going to be a work in progress as he kind of learns. But the idea of him playing like with LaMelo Ball and some of those guys that are in Charlotte, I think it'd be a really interesting fit, and I think it's going to be fun really to watch both of those guys, see how they settle in and see what they're able to do to start off their NBA careers.
Yeah, Young isn't a problem in Charlotte, I don't think.
No.
They want young. They want young, hungry guys who can develop into something.
That's
where they're not a piece away like Atlanta is.
Exactly.
It's a different deal.
Yeah, they want young in Charlotte, and Atlanta's got young, and he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing in front of Sharif.
Wow, how about that?
How about that? Any other thoughts on the draft, how that kind of played out, and sort of the future for both of those guys?
No, I mean, hey, we talk about the streak breaking, but come on. You know what I mean? It's second round.
Again,
now it's a streak of NBA draft picks.
Yeah.
It's still crazy.
Yeah,
that's cool. And like I remember coming back from the College World Series, and then Chuma got drafted that night, and it was like, no Auburn writer has ever had to deal with this crap. Coming back from the College World Series and then having an NBA player drafted. Both are unheard of things. And that's what it was. It was, you have a signee, Suni, winning a gold medal, and then the NBA draft is right after. Like, what? That's a good time for Auburn. So, hey, man, we've talked all year about what an awful year for Auburn sports.
Yeah.
In 2020, 2021.
Yes.
Awful. All of it was bad. Everything was bad. Football coach got fired. Baseball had bad seasons. Basketball was banned from the postseason. Softball had a poor season. Gymnastics had it worse out of anybody, and it wasn't a big story because those girls are so graceful. But the NC State thing that everyone freaked out about in the College World Series happened to Auburn Gym.
Yep.
They had COVID cancel their whole postseason in the regionals. Awful. Like, as far as performing poorly, bad luck, just a rotten year for Auburn. But here you are, hope springs eternal, Jordan Hill.
On the plains.
And you have. There's something for the future. You have SUNY winning. That's a big thing for Auburn. And two get drafted in the draft on the same night. That's big for Auburn. So, that's a good way to gun into August, I think, for Auburn sports.
No doubt, and it'll be exciting to see what comes next. Switching gears a little bit, this actually happened while we've been podcasting, Justin. Breaking news.
What did we miss?
Oklahoma and Texas have formally accepted invitations to the SEC. We talked about this.
We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. We talked about this a little bit in our live episode from Hoover.
Did I get an alert for that? I guess no one cares.
I don't know. I saw that a couple of things have come across.
Yeah, all right.
But what are your thoughts? So we've had a little bit more time to think. When that report first came out, we were sitting beside each other.
Yeah.
And Jimbo was walking up, and we were like, whoa.
Yeah, the guy beside us was like, do I have a paywall behind? Get us behind Houston Chronicle?
We were like, what just happened? All of a sudden, now we've had a little bit more time to process this news.
Do I have a login?
Yeah, anybody want to share, hit it up with us? But now it looks like Oklahoma and Texas are for sure coming. It's a matter of when. If I were a betting man, I think you'll see it in 2022 or 2023 because I don't think the Big 12 is going to want them hanging around when they're going to leave. But what do you think this does for the conference, being able to add two programs, two schools like Texas and Oklahoma?
That would be a sloppy divorce for them to just hang around.
That's what I think, because right now they're saying 2025, and I'm like, brother.
Those are going to be 4 harsh years of, you know what I mean?
There'll be so many horns down. I don't know if the Longhorns
can't survive it.
I don't know if the Longhorns can take it.
The Big 12 immediately reverses all decisions.
The logo for the Big 12, like, hey. Like Bob Bowlesby, the Big 12 commissioner, is going to go talk and be like, look, we understand it's hard. when you lose two programs,
it's really tough, man. All right, first question over there.
Yeah. First question. We'll go with the guy with the mic.
There's two theories. Yeah, that's one, and the other is it could happen sooner just because the Big 12 dissolves.
Yeah,
and then they're not beholden to the Big 12 because it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
I think it could happen where the Big 12 decides their next move. Those 8 teams, they decide they're going to bring in SMU and make the new Southwest or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll say, hey, this is our new plan. It's going to be great. And then Texas and Oklahoma can probably leave sooner, but probably bide time until then.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, hey man, what a wild time. And it's hard for I think it's objectively good for Auburn sports. We talked about the 12-team football, objectively good for Auburn football. I don't know. It's gonna be harder, you know what I mean?
I think it's gonna be a challenge in that over the years, Auburn has recruited Texas. That's not where they get the bulk of their players, but they'll go in and get a few guys out of Lone Star State every year.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a lot harder. Obviously, A&M was already there, but if your big pitch is come play SEC football, it's like, well, I got 2 options now as far as in my home state.
Yeah,
and
poor A&M, man. They got screwed.
But
they unanimous. It said it was unanimous.
Well, I think Greg Sankey was like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Like everybody, this is happening whether you like it or not, and
Yeah.
you're going to make it harder on yourself if you don't step in line.
Right.
Which is what a good commissioner is going to do, is say,
yeah,
we're doing it. Everybody get on board.
If you want $70 million a year.
And Jimbo's ears perked up at $70 million. I think that might be what he's getting paid this year. I don't know. But I like it for me, just as a fan, from the fan perspective.
Sure.
I know that's going to be a big change. I know it's going to look a lot different. But I just think when you can add, think about, I know Texas has been down, thinking specifically with football.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma has been in the playoff, not quite as much as Alabama, but they're right there with Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State.
Yeah.
I say add it. I think it'll add for a lot more entertaining games. And, that TV money, you can understand why Texas and Oklahoma said, look, we've got a chance to go join.
Yep.
It's the premier conference in college football. I don't think you can debate it. That's just the way it is.
And there's no more even
It's not even
a whisper of something else.
It can't be.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of it. I don't know how smoothly everything will go. The big thing's going to be scheduling. We don't know what that's going to look like, and pods, and they might get rid of divisions, which I personally am fine with.
Sure.
But I'm just excited to see what it looks like and how this all plays out. Because also, I mean, probably a long ways from knowing what year this is going to happen, how they're going to. I mean, I think they're still really in the early stages of this, but I think it's big for the SEC. I think it's a huge win, and it's going to make for some interesting schedules for the next few years. Interesting too. I mean, when you've had some of the Big 12 teams on the schedule, Auburn's going to play Baylor in a few years, and maybe they're like,
play like 3 Texas teams that year.
Exactly, and it's like, well, maybe we don't want to play an AAC or an independent Baylor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might look totally different from when that game was scheduled.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. How about the Auburn-Oklahoma game in basketball this year? A little preview.
Yeah.
A little preview action. That'll be fun. I mean, and for the university, I think it's huge because the kind of the unofficial slogan. I say unofficial because they don't say it, but Auburn University considers sports the front door of its university.
Yes.
That's its advertising. It gets out there. People want to enroll in Auburn because Auburn's good at football. That's how it is, right? And they're on TV and they're in the playoff. They want to be in the BCS National Championship. They want to be in the playoff. They want to be on TV. So for this, to be in, to grandfather into this new super conference, and you were a part of it, of course, but that's big and it's huge. I think it's huge for all sports. It'd be big for football. It's going to be a challenge for football. But if you're an Auburn fan, it's like, hey, man, more money. Think about those Longhorns fans, how much money they're going to spend when they come to town.
Oh, man.
Hotel industry booming.
That's true.
In all of those ways, it's a good thing, man. And if you think you don't like it, imagine if you were in the ACC and you were on the outside looking in, brother.
You've seen there's been a few people from Florida State and Clemson being like, we care about our brand too. You know what I mean? So I think you're right.
You want to be on the inside looking out.
Yes.
So you be glad you're sitting here, and then hey, maybe Auburn can finally move to the East where it belongs. We'll see.
That's what I'm very interested in, and if they split Auburn and Alabama,
who knows?
We don't know, and to me that's the fun of it. It's going to be fun following the story for the weeks and months and probably years to come.
And football, big for and we said it last week. Big for football. Texas is big in track. That's going to be huge for SEC track and field, and Oklahoma, softball and gymnastics. Buy your stock right now because SEC softball is just going to have the top 16 teams.
Yes.
Softball is crazy, and then gymnastics. Oklahoma is, talking about the blue bloods, and the blue bloods in gymnastics. It's UCLA, Alabama, and pretty much Oklahoma. Those are the 3, and Florida's kind of a new power, right? So Oklahoma, man, they're going to be right there. Buy your stock in that, right? Buy your stock in the SEC network. That's going to be in pretty much maybe every home in America now. You know what I mean? How big is that cable? It's going to be huge. So, it's big. It's good.
Let's switch gears to recruiting. What a world.
Who'd have thought adding Texas and Oklahoma a good thing?
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears to recruiting. Been a couple developments and a couple right down the line for Auburn. I don't think we talked about it last week. I think it might have happened after we recorded. Damari Alston, a 4-star running back from Woodward Academy in Georgia, is committed to Auburn. I think that's a pretty big pickup. So they've got that commitment, and then there's a couple guys that we're waiting to see that might be jumping on board. Big one on Sunday, which we'll be reporting about. Caden Story, a 4-star defensive end. He's down to Auburn or UCF. So either way, boys, Auburn fans are going to be talking about what happens either way.
Yeah.
That would be a big pickup for Auburn.
Huge.
And then August 4th, Kobe Albert, a receiver, 3-star receiver.
Okay.
He's going to announce. I don't think he's announced his finalists, but it looks like Auburn or maybe Michigan. So a very important time and could be a big boost in a number of ways for Auburn. Coming off of Alston, who I saw was tweeting today saying, hey, I'm trying to get us 3 or 4 guys. So he's trying to kind of drum up the interest in joining him with the Tigers.
He tweeted at the recruiting coordinator. And was like, just take a break, brother. I got this. So, hey, man, you want kids like that. You want bell cow kids who are going to be like, hey, this is what we're doing, and try to recruit other people. We talked about that Bo Nix, Owen Papo class.
Yes.
Everybody talks about how talented this roster is, and, Gus got fired for mismanaging what people thought was a really talented roster that should have won more than 6 games. The reason you have this talent and the reason expectations are pretty high for Harsin and that's because of Bo Nix and Owen Papo, those kind of guys who were bell cows of their class. You want Austin to be one of those guys. Getting him, and if you get Caden back to back, Caden would be the first universal 4-star unanimous between 247 and rivals. Because I think Austin's a 247 composite 4-star, but their rating is 3. So, but anyway, whatever. This is subjective art form. But
yes.
but Caden would be, and that'd be a big pickup for Eason. And then of course you already have a big pickup for Cadillac. So 2 of your assistant coaches doing a lot of work and carrying a lot of the water right now. And hey man, that's everybody's fired up on Eason. He has big shoes to fill in Rodney Garner, but what a way to start by getting Caden, man. Caden, we can't say enough good things about Caden, man.
Yes.
He comes from a football family.
Yes.
An East Alabama football family. If you can get the fire marshals up and keep him from leaving and keep him home, that's a big old deal. Some people bat their eyes at local kids or whatever.
This is a guy you want.
You want this one.
I really think there's a lot of really good local players, and obviously they got Powell Gordon.
Yeah.
But if you get Caden Story, you cannot say, well, he's just a local kid. This dude is a beast.
Yeah. Any of the Story boys. I mean,
that's the biggest thing. If he decides on Auburn, for those who don't know, his brother Christian is a defensive back at Alabama. Yeah. So add a little bit more to the Iron Bowl.
That'll be fun.
That'll be very fun. So we're going to keep track of that.
Yeah.
We're going to be following those stories the next few days. We mentioned Powell Gordon. He's one of our Super 8 seniors. That story is out as of Friday.
Yeah.
And we'll have some more of those Super 8 seniors between you and I, some of our local guys.
Yeah.
Anything else coming down the pipe, I should say? Anything else we need to be looking out for?
Yeah, we have Super 8s coming out online Friday, Monday, Wednesdays. And then we have, and now the plan is every day we're going to run a preview story for high school football, man. So
20 previews.
20 previews,
between
yeah.
2 of us.
Yeah, brother. We're cranking them out. We're firing it up. So every single day, hey, man, if you're listening, you got a local team you care about, come on, see us, on social media, wherever, and, of course, on the website, oanow.com. And see if it's your day. It's gonna we'll have a team every day as we roll forward. So come see if it's, and then of course the Super 8 rolls out. That's a long-standing tradition, and we'll see who gets to be the latest in a class of Super 8. We should look up how long it's gone on.
We should. There's probably been. I know when I got here that I've heard tell of some really good players.
Yeah.
And, so this Super 8 Senior Series, presented by Orthopedic Clinic.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's been really exciting to talk to those kids. They're excited. They're ready to get back on the field.
Yeah, man. So there you go. NOAnow.com. Come on. Get you a login, bro. It's $26 right now for a year.
For a year.
Come on, bro. It's $2. Come on, $2 a month.
You got
and change. Yeah. Get you a login. Get set up for all the football. You get all of Jordan's incredible Auburn football coverage coming up. High school football, too. We got some good stringers. We got some bangers for high school football.
We're ready, man. We are loaded for bear when it comes to high school football.
And when you talk about SUNY, you talk about these things. We've got some stuff that nobody's else got. So, come on, man. Get you a login.
Let's do it. I want to end the episode by saying thanks to everybody. I wrote a column. My grandfather passed last week. Had so much good support from everybody. That means a lot to me and my family, so that meant a lot to see. So we'll end it on that note, Justin.
Yeah,
thanks again for hopping on, and until next...
Thank you, Jordan.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Until next week, take care.